Hello and welcome back to Run Fast, Lift Heavy. Today I'm joined again by Elly Cowley, the nutrition expert. Elly, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. Are you okay?
Yeah, all good. Enjoying the sun on this bank holiday. So
Yeah.
today we've got 3 topics to talk about: protein, meal timing, and supplementation. We're going to start with protein. Elly, can you just talk about what protein is, why we need it, how much we need?
Okay, so protein is one of the 3 macronutrients. Most foods are made out of a combination of the 3, which are carbohydrates, fats, and protein. Protein is it's broken down into amino acids. And all of them have different names, and you'll get different amino acids in different foods, and combined all together, they work together to repair your muscles, build muscle, bone, tissue and ligaments and all the good stuff that keeps us standing up and moving well. So protein is super important, obviously. If you have too little of it, then you put yourself at risk of diseases such as osteoporosis and osteopenia, like later in life. And you can also experience like quite a lot of fatigue if you are low in protein. So there's guidelines on how much the average adult is meant to have per day. So the British Nutrition Foundation sort of states a lot of this online. They give a sort of bottom line recommendation of 0.75 grams per kilogram of your body weight. And on average, apparently, so this is interesting, the average weight of a male in the UK is 75 kilos. The average weight of a woman is 60. So that equals 55 grams for men and 45 grams for women. So
it's pretty low.
Yeah. So on the offset, you I would call that quite low, but that is because I work with a lot of athletes and people who I call anyone an athlete who basically trains hard 3 to 5 times a week and is looking to be their sort of best selves. They do a lot of training, so it might be weight training, it might be CrossFit, it might be running, it might be triathlon. They're seriously fit people, most of these people. So that low number there is that's the minimum needs for the average adult. So it's not necessarily the number that's going to get you thriving. So I actually consider, the recommendation I give people is probably like 3 to 4 times more than that number, which sounds like a lot. But for someone who's looking to build muscle, maintain the strength that they have while using body fat, for example, maybe they're doing, CrossFit, weight training. I actually recommend a range that's between 1.6 and 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight. So that's up like 3 times more than the UK guidelines. And I do this because the UK guidelines are aimed at like the average sedentary person. They're looking to avoid muscle wasting, like complications later in life. And for a lot of athletes, CrossFitters and active folk, they need much more than that. There's a lot of research that backs up this number as well. So the number, I didn't just sort of pull it randomly out of my head. It's one that's is proven scientifically to be the best range for those sort of people. And also it's one from experience. I found that my clients seem to thrive on this number pretty much. So it's in that range.
I think a common misconception about protein, especially for women, is that if you consume it, it's going to make you bulky. Could you debunk this, or perhaps talk about any other misconceptions around protein?
Yeah, so that's probably the main one. So protein per se will not make you bulky as long as overall calories are not excessively more than what your body needs. Also, if you do end up in a calorie surplus, you're not all of a sudden going to wake up one day and look like a bodybuilder. That's not how it works, unfortunately.
No, I know, I wish.
I wish. But I think, when it's bulky, I know what they mean by bulky, I think, is actually like looking, I don't want to use the word masculine, but like having like big shoulders, big biceps, like veins popping out everywhere. Yeah, I absolutely wish for that. I wish. But what people, when they're saying that, I think what they actually mean is they don't want to all of a sudden be breaking out of their dresses and their and strappy dresses and stuff. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but basically no, unfortunately you're not going to get bulky.
That I learned from working with you, so when we first started, my goal was to drop fat, so you brought my calories down, protein went up a lot higher. I was eating about 75 grams before you, and then you brought it up to 150, but I actually felt a lot more satiated despite eating fewer calories. So if you want to lose fat, I think it's a good way to make yourself feel full.
For sure, yeah, because like your body like is craving protein, so it does help to make you feel full. The foods that are high in protein do have that benefit to them, and it's going to help maintain like the good weight that you have, so and which actually makes you look leaner long term. So when you lose the body fat, you just have nice sort of lean physique underneath that. I think it's the combination of muscle mass plus body fat, which is what people think is bulky.
Yeah, awesome. So what are some ways we can increase our protein intake in our diets?
Okay, so I guess the obvious one is if you're an omnivore or a meat eater, then lean meats is probably your best option here. You can easily hit your protein needs with just 2 or 3 portions of meat, and so that's the obvious one, I guess. But there are other options, obviously, if you are vegetarian, vegan, or you eat fish. So fish is a good one, probably like the next category. That's the easiest way. But there's a lot of modern products out there which are really, really good. So there's a few hacks would be trying fortified pastas and noodles, which have a little bit more protein in them. So you'll see the ones that are like spinach and edamame. Edamame is a soya bean, and that is super high in protein. You can find it in the frozen section. They're really nice as well. So mix that in with a stir fry, a salad, along with peas. Peas are super high in protein. Mushrooms, tofu, and quinoa give a good bang for their buck as well. The vegetarian proteins don't have a complete range of amino acids. So by combining different products together, you're going to get a good range of muscle building sort of amino acids, making a pretty decent salad as well. Trying out, there's a lot, as I said, like with the modern products, protein yogurts, those pouches that you can get in Aldi that everyone's raving about. They're sold out everywhere at the moment because everyone's on them. The protein puddings are pretty damn good. Obviously protein powders as well can really help to bump you up a little bit. And in terms of how to get it in easily, I recommend starting the day with a big chunk of it, and then you've sort of hit a big portion of it, and it makes the day a little bit easier to keep going with it. So maybe starting the day, if you eat eggs or like fish, like salmon, that sounds like a really nice breakfast to me. Or by having like a protein porridge would be a good one too.
Yeah, I've got like a protein dessert. I think some people would find it a bit grim if you're not used to all the products, but I have the Aldi protein yogurt or pudding, and then I put protein powder in it. Bit of frozen berries on top, and then I've got these My Protein protein chocolates, and it's 80 grams of protein because I don't eat meat. I do eat fish, but it's pretty expensive. So I struggle to buy it, more than 4 times a week. So I don't have it every day. So that protein meal, I'm really full after it, and it looks like a bowl of sludge, but it's good for me.
Oh, it sounds good. I think when you blend berries with like protein powders and stuff, it literally just turns brown, but it tastes amazing, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh, that sounds delightful. I think I might give that a go myself.
Okay. Next topic is, does meal timing matter? So Ellie, how would you suggest structuring our workout nutrition?
Okay, so it isn't like, it's not magic. It's not going to be like an absolute game changer to your physique necessarily, but it might be a game changer in terms of how you feel during your training sessions, and therefore you will perform better, and therefore you'll long-term get better results. So what I would do and what I recommend people do is, before their workout, having some carbohydrates. So this means by having some carbohydrates such as a high GI fruit or some dried fruits, even some sugars, some sweets, it gives the body a bit of sugar to be used straight away, so it can help you perform better during your session and you get more out of it. It can also, working with some clients who don't eat before their training session, it can help to avoid nausea and some dizziness that's associated with low blood sugar. It can give you a burst of energy, and this coupled with caffeine as well, some people find that really helps too. This is probably taken, it's different for everyone, but I can eat something right before training. Other people need to be about an hour before. So about within an hour of training. After your training session, having a source of protein and carbohydrates, within an hour or two after your workout, it'll help your body to recover right away. This will mean that the muscle has the amino acids that it needs to build and repair, and the glycogen stores from the carbohydrates that are lost during the workout are replenished, which can help reduce muscle soreness and fatigue right away as well. I think, what exactly does that look like? It's personal preference. For me personally, my go-to is a banana and also some optional caffeine depending on how I'm feeling. A banana pre-workout, it's just easy to get down. So no matter what time of day it is, I can kind of, it's easy to chew, it digests well, and it's a high GI fruit. Afterwards, you're probably looking for either like a protein snack, like depending on what time of day it is, it might be a breakfast, so some protein oats, or maybe a stir fry, a pasta salad, a protein smoothie, a protein bar, and some fruit. So yeah, just a well-rounded meal within an hour or two. This meal is particularly important for people who maybe don't have anything pre-workout. Say you train super early in the morning. I know some people prefer to train fasted, so this meal afterwards becomes super important.
Yeah. So would you say that meal timing is more important for people in a calorie deficit versus in a calorie surplus?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that when you're in a calorie deficit, you don't have as many calories to play with during the day. So putting them around your workout is going to help you feel probably your best. And it's going to be when your body needs it the most. So yeah, saving a chunk of your calories for pre and post workout is probably going to get the best results for you there. Yeah. And also in general, saving some food for yourself later on in the day. So if you tend to front load the day with a lot of food, you'll probably get to the evening and say you've got a typical job where you've got a bit of downtime in the evening, not having any snacks available. Boredom might lead to feeling more hungry, and going to bed with an empty stomach. Not my personal preference. I like to feel quite satisfied at the end of the day. So yeah, if I'm in a calorie deficit, I'll save some calories for later on.
Yeah, completely agree. That's how it is for me as well. I do enjoy eating whilst watching TV as well.
Oh, definitely.
And definitely something sweet. But nowadays it's my protein.
Yeah, protein snack. Love.
Yeah. Okay, next question, final topic. So we're going to talk about supplements. So what supplements would you recommend for the everyday general population client? And then what considerations would you give for competitive athletes?
Okay, so for the everyday person, so this is everyone, including athletes, I say you can't go wrong with a multivitamin year-round, a vitamin D supplement during the winter months. So in the UK, being in the Northern Hemisphere, this is September to April months. And omega-3 is also one that I'd recommend for those who don't get enough from their diets. Omega-3 is mostly found in oily fish and also flaxseed. And if you are vegan, then I also recommend a vitamin B12 because it's just something that you don't get in your diet if you avoid animal products. So the reasons behind this is a multivitamin will cover your bases. It's also pretty affordable. Like you can get a baseline one in most supermarkets. A vitamin D, because this is best absorbed from the sun through the skin rather than from your food. In winter, the sun is not strong enough to penetrate our skin. So, and also we're wearing lots of layers, so there's not much skin available for the sun to get to. This vitamin is super important for keeping bones, teeth, muscles, and super healthy. It's also a known mood booster. So if you do have seasonal affective disorder, then having a vitamin D supplement is known to help with this too. So for athletes, on top of this, in general, the more active you are, the higher your needs are. And this goes for macronutrients, so your food, but also the micronutrients, so the stuff that, vitamin minerals that come from your fruit, veg, grains, pulses. Exercise places stress on the body, so it speeds up the turnover and loss of your vitamins and minerals. So therefore, your needs are going to be a little bit more than the average person. It's a very individual thing here. So I always would say food first. That approach does tend to work best. So making sure that you're having, I always recommend 500 grams of like fruit and veg a day. So that includes like sort of sweet potatoes, oranges, bananas, salads, everything like that. So if you get that much sort of variety, then you're probably covering most of your bases there. So food first, but in general, it'll be the muscle and bone tissue vitamins which are needed the most. These are things like calcium, iron, magnesium, and vitamin D. But a lot of those can be found from your multivitamin as well.
Cool. When we spoke about protein, you mentioned amino acids, which led me to think about BCAA, so branched chain amino acids. They're really, really, really heavily marketed by companies like bulk powders and MyProtein. Is there efficacy behind this? Do people need to supplement with them, or is it just a nice way to get flavored water in your diet?
Yeah, I probably lean towards that. It's more flavored water, to be honest. Yeah, it's better absorbed from food. Yeah, amino acids are better found in food sources. I think BCAAs are, plus it's just really expensive. Maybe if they were like super, super cheap, then it'd be like, yeah, go for it. But again, it's one of those like tiny, tiny little changes that's more expensive than it's worth. So yeah, I'd always go food first.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Elly. Really appreciate that.
Thank you for having me on. That was fun.